Welcome to the Intentional Mind podcast, where we're all about helping you intentionally design your life. I'm Ange Barnard, and today I have a mini episode for you, a short bonus episode, where we're going to talk about something that often triggers us and shifts our energy down, and how to handle those situations when they happen. Okay, so what we're talking about today is when you set an intention for the day, or you set a plan in mind. You're like, I'm going to focus on this tomorrow, let's say, right? And let's say tomorrow comes, like you wake up in the morning and maybe you sleep in and you're not able to do all the things that you planned on doing, right? Or you start your day and a series of events happen that make it so you have to shift your focus to focus on those things that you were not planning to focus on, right? And then you find yourself frustrated. For whatever reason, you are frustrated that you didn't do the things that you wanted to do, right? And then you can beat yourself up about it. You can say, oh, I should have gotten up earlier. I should have done this. Or I'm blaming someone for taking your energy or whatever it is. We go to the catabolic state. And it's not an issue that you go there. It's an issue that you stay there. And what I have seen for a lot of people, including myself, is when something happens earlier in the day that shifts us off our path, right? Or shifts our energy down. It can be really challenging for a lot of us to shift it back up and enjoy the rest of the day, to have a good rest of the day. Because we had a crappy morning, like we struggle then having a good rest of the day, right? And I see that happen to so many of us. And this is the thing that we need to think about. We need to think about the fact that not all parts of our day are going to be awesome. Like, can we just accept that? You know, that sometimes we're going to have a little rough of a morning, but then we have the power to make the rest of the day freaking awesome, right? So this got me thinking about something that was said in our Voxer group for my Commit to Your Vision program. All of the ladies are part of a Voxer group where you can send voice messages or text to the whole group. And it's so helpful and so encouraging. And if you're feeling low energy for whatever reason, you can put it in there and we can help shift that energy. We can celebrate together. It's just a really good place to be. So recently we were talking about kind of like how you just have low energy and what to do in that situation. And one of our members gave this advice about seeing it as a game, like where, think of a football game, right? And we have the quarters in the football game. And just seeing it as one quarter that maybe we didn't play well or the way that we wanted to, but we got 3 quarters left. You know, what do we want to do with the rest of the 3 quarters? And if you've watched sports, you know that people can have some poor, quarter 1 and quarter 2, but they can come back and win the game by killing it in the next quarters. So when this was said, I was just like, oh, it just really got me thinking. And I was like, I want to share this with you. And this is just an example of the power that a community has with each other and lifting each other up and the wisdom that is there, right? Not just from me. This is from a member in the group, which I feel like is so cool to hear. And there was a lot of other good tips given. But this one just got me thinking about how this morning when I woke up, it's like I slept in because I stayed up too late and I'm still adjusting because I was traveling and I was on a different time zone. So I was 3 hours behind. So I was having a hard time falling asleep last night. And then this morning I had the intention of getting up, doing my workout, doing my devotional, doing all the stuff before the day started. And it didn't go as I planned. And then I had a podcast where I was supposed to do a podcast interview. And the person canceled it because they didn't feel well. So it was just all these things I had spent a lot of energy to plan didn't go the way that I wanted, right? But instead, what did I do? When I realized that things weren't going to flow the way I wanted, I thought about it as the game. And I was like, this is the first quarter. Maybe I didn't play as well as I wanted to this first quarter. And of course, there was things out of my control. Maybe I tried to throw the ball and someone didn't catch it. You know, the recording got canceled, right? Now, but still, it's out of my control. How do I want to play the next 3 quarters of the game? How do I want them to flow? And I feel like that is just so powerful to think about. It gives your power back. It's wait, we got some more quarters to play. We can do our best here coming up. And another thing I heard recently that was really helpful was I was listening to a podcast episode with Hal Elrod. And Hal was talking about how he was recently diagnosed with cancer and was told that he would have like a 20 to 30% chance of living. And Hal is known for his morning routine. And it's something that he equates to his success that he has now. Makes perfect sense because your energy early in the day, if you can get that energy higher early in the day, we know that that has such an influence on the rest of the day. This is why we're talking about what happens when our energy dips in the morning and then we struggle getting it back higher for the rest of the day or getting our motivation back, right? It's so powerful, that energy in the morning. Doesn't mean you can't come back from a dip, which is what we're talking about now. But anywho, so with Hal, he said this. He said, if you know Hal Elrod's story, basically in a nutshell, this is his story. How he got started into his morning routine, his miracle morning routine, was because when he was 20 years old, he got into a car accident. Drunk driver crashed into him and he broke a bunch of bones and stuff in his body. And he was told that he wouldn't be able to walk again. The chances were very low. Basically, he was not going to walk again. And the way that he handled this news was so interesting. He handled it with from such a positive place because he's like, okay, well, if that's out of my control, I'm going to be the happiest dude that can't walk. I'm going to do my best to still show up and enjoy my life. And it was interesting because the medical staff were like, something's off here. They even told his dad, they're like, he's in denial, because most people that have something like this told to them that you're not going to be able to walk again, they have it's normal to have these feelings of being completely frustrated, right? All of the negative kinds of feelings. Makes perfect sense. Someone would feel that way. But they were like, but he is showing up in a different way. This is weird. This isn't normal. And this is what he said. It's the same thought that he had recently when told that he had cancer and he had a 20 to 30% chance of living. The news, you're not going to walk again, or the news, you have cancer and you have a very high percentage chance that you're not going to make it. And you're a dad, you have a family, all the things, right? Devastating news both ways. And this is what he thought in his mind. He said he remembered the 5-minute rule. And I was like, what's the 5-minute rule? And he said back in the day when he used to learn sales stuff, sales training stuff early in his youngin' times, before even his car accident, before 20, he learned the sales tool. And basically it was this rule that if something negative happens, the rule is that you have 5 minutes to dwell about that thing, to really let your energy dip and stay in that low place. You can be there for 5 minutes into that catabolic state. But after that, get out of that state, right? And this kind of reminds me of what I often say. It's not an issue that you go there. It's an issue that you stay there. My email just went off. Okay, right? So think about it like the 5-minute rule. I have 5 minutes to dip down, stay in here into this catabolic range, and then I'm going to do the work to shift myself out of that state. And how do I do that is I think what's really helpful to me, and Hal alluded to this too in the interview, was that the stuff that's happening now, it's out of our control. How the morning went or how half the day went or whatever it is, now it's done, right? It's out of our control. It's in the past. All we have is right here, right now. What is in our control? What can we do to move forward from here? What is always in your control is what? Is your energy, right? No one can take away the freedom that you have to determine your own attitude in life. No circumstance can take that away from you, no person, because that gets filtered through your own mind. So what you can do is just simply ask yourself, what is in my control? Or what can I focus on that will make me feel good going forward from here? How can I bring joy to this moment? Yeah, I didn't get up when I wanted to. Yeah, I didn't do all the things that I wanted to this morning, or XYZ thing happened. But how can I show up and bring the joy now, here? How can I play a good rest of the game? How can I show up and do my best for the rest of the quarters that are left? All right, y'all, that was today's mini episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't left us a review, please do so, and just go out there and enjoy the rest of the game. Talk to you soon. Bye.